Hey you guys, so I have something really exciting to share with you. Hopefully you find it exciting. If not, it just feels good to release this into the world. In the beginning of the year, I kind of got a bit of a dream job. Ron Jeremio at Jazz at Lincoln Center contacted me and asked me if I would storyboard, illustrate, and animate a lyric music video for a collaboration they did with John Mayer. If you don't know, Ron Jeremio is an award-winning designer. He has a Grammy. I think he has a Grammy. Let me double check that. Yep, man's got a Grammy. I felt like I was in very good company. This is a collaboration with the Wynton Marsalis Septet. They were doing a set of galas between 2003 and 2007, and they just invited in all sort of these important blues and jazz musicians. They had Bob Dylan come in, they had I think Ray Charles come in, which must have been literally right before he died, which is very historic. That's kind of crazy. So I did the video for John Mayer as a lyric music video. I'm going to put it at the end of this video if you want to watch it here. I'm gonna have to edit it slightly, as in put a little border around it and maybe drop the pitch in the songs so YouTube doesn't copyright strike me or anything. But if you want to see the unedited version, go into the description. I'm gonna put the link there. I came in and Ron and I had a really long discussion about what we could do in the time frame we had. Both of us co-directed this. He was really excited about some of the more experimental cell animation I had been doing. If you don't know, here's a few of them. Working with Ron was an amazing experience. I don't think I've ever quite worked alongside someone who gave me this much creative freedom or had sort of so much faith in my vision. And also we both had a very similar vision and response to the song. We both were really interested in this ghostly female character. We both basically at the same time were oh, I want to do something that's sort of film noir inspired, kind of shadow puppets and film noir. Even though film noir doesn't have a direct connection to jazz, I think it actually lends itself very well to I don't know, sort of this kind of southern bluesy thing. So we had a really interesting conversation about, are these completely abstract characters, or is John Mayer kind of the guy walking through these scenarios? We ended up kind of landing in the middle. We realized that John Mayer on his Instagram sort of references a lot of historic jazz players that are very sleek and cool. My original design for the main character of this video was a little bit frumpier, and I think I was pulling very strongly from film noir, which has boxier suits. So we ended up tailoring in the suit, keeping the hat because it's very dramatic and beautiful. We also took a risk and had the character smoking, which I do not think you should start smoking, but visually it is a very effective thing. The video is sort of a set of slowly moving vignettes through sort of a dark no man's land. We wanted to really capture that lonely outside feeling you get when you break up with someone, but I also was really concerned with having all the characters involved in this story be very fleshed out. I'm always a little nervous about love stories and sort of these breakup songs that put all of the onus on one person, because normally I feel when things fall apart, it's a little bit of a double whammy. So we ended up setting up sort of two characters where he's being very haunted by this woman, but then I think it's kind of hinted sort of very subtly within the context that she's also being affected, and maybe there were some reasons in terms of why the breakup and maybe it wasn't mutual. That's a lot of projection I put onto it. I think it still focuses mainly on his feelings. I didn't want that female character just to be this throwaway monster mean bitch, even if that sometimes is what it feels like. So let's see, I don't know what else I wanted to talk about with this or what was really important. Honestly, I think I wanted to kind of leave this video on kind of an upbeat note. Recently, I've been doing a lot of animation and illustration and combining things, and I took an animation course recently and sort of tried to build up the skills I had sort of built on my own, and really self-educating to be able to make my images move. And it's so labor intensive, but it really is the most fulfilling thing to see your images move. It's like magic every time. It really means a lot to me that, you know, I put out this set of like little gifts over time. They were simple, but they really spoke to how I think, the surrealism that I want to bring into my work, and sort of slightly otherworldly with like a small sort of cute effed up vibe. I don't know what other people read into it, but a lot of times it's about bodies melting. It's not for everyone. I just like that these were things that I did for fun and from just like this very pure place of wanting to experiment, and ultimately like they found someone and found an application in the real world. And that was something where I was legitimately surprised. And we had to send my really goofy animatic to John Mayer and his people to like okay, and each time I was just like John Mayer is like obviously an established and like complicated guy, but I don't think his brand is necessarily this weirdo. The video and the concept not only gelled with sort of this very like traditional and sort of like pinnacle of like the New York music scene, but it also obviously got the okay from John Mayer, and that's exciting for me because, you know, making artwork in a bubble, like, you know, you get an immense amount of joy from it and fulfillment, but there's something where, yeah, you want to see that stuff take flight, be applied in new places, and also like affect real culture, and that is what happened here. And that just came from me. Started out by making these goofy gifts, being able to from start to finish just like curve and chisel away and build this narrative in film that really didn't feel like there was a lot of compromise at all. Like there was a compromise in the time frame we had. We really had to bust our asses to like get this done, but in terms of the vision and the characters and, you know, sustaining this really like nightmare dream world. And I think that's just working with the right people. It felt so good. And on a deeply emotional level, it's kind of a dream come true. That's the thing. When you like achieve a dream, it's like you always have more dreams. I would have never thought I'd be making films, you know? Like I remember being, God, I must have been like 10 years old, and it was right after my aunts somehow they had gotten this like VHS tape of Princess Mononoke from their neighbors, and they were like, oh, like Rebekka likes to watch anime and cartoons, and they showed it to me, and you know, nothing's ever been the same since. But I remember afterwards, like I don't know where we were going, I was in the back of their car and we were just talking, and they asked me, hey, like what do you know, is there anything you want to do when you like grow up? And I remember immediately I was like, oh, I want to make animated films. And it was directly correlated to watching that film. And it's like no one ever told me that there were directors or animators or anything. Like I had no idea the sense of it, but somehow watching Princess Mononoke, but it was just so obvious to me that someone was behind it. And I think I got a little bit off track with that. And I think some of it was just, you know, growing up, it's kind of hard to get encouragement for making artwork. But now, like taking these steps and the fact that I got to direct my first sort of film, like that's really exciting. I don't know, it gives me a lot of confidence to be able to initiate my own projects, work with other people, basically like I'd love to like lead a team and make something like more extravagant. You know, it makes all that seem like much more possible, and maybe it's not as far off as I think it is. Yeah, that's just what I'm feeling right now. It's exciting. It's like a low-key good feeling that I've achieved something. I'm very proud of it, and I'm so thankful that Ron reached out to me and like let me take this on. So thank you, Ron, if you're watching this. Thank you, Jazz at Lincoln Center and John Mayer and the Wynton Marsalis septet, all of you guys for letting me really wild out on this video. So enjoy it. I'll see you next week. Bye.
It's really over. You made your stand. You got me crying. As was your plan. But when my loneliness is through, I'm gonna find another you. You take your sweaters, you take your time. You might have your reason, but you will never have my rhyme. I'm gonna sing my way away from blue. I'm gonna find another you. When I was your lover, no one else would do. And if I'm forced to find another, I hope she looks like you. Yeah, and she's nicer too. Yeah, so go on, baby, make your little getaway. My pride will keep me company. You just gave yours all the way. Oh, now I'm gonna dress myself in two. Once for me and once for someone new. I'm gonna do some things you wouldn't let me do.